Any words of wisdom before we get started?
Yes, there is. To you who are district club president elects, welcome. We are glad you are here. And you on July the 1st become the president of your club, which may be a little scary. I remember in 2004 when I was in your shoes, it was a little scary, and but you'll enjoy the ride. So we appreciate you participating tonight. This is sort of a just to kind of help you get ready for PETS, President-elect Training Seminar. And so we hope you learn some things and it'll soothe some of your concerns. But thanks for participating tonight. We're going to have a district conference in 3 months, the last weekend of April. And we have continued to stall, quite frankly, at putting money down on that because they said when you put the money down, it's non-refundable. And just common sense, as well as talking to other Rotarians, nobody really wants to say, yes, I would be willing to put non-refundable money down. And we were doing this with District 6860, North Alabama, and we were hoping for well over 100 people. So you're talking about quite a bit of money at the beach in Perdido. And so here's a speech that you've heard a few times because we're not sure about the future with COVID, and it's not April, end of April is not far away. We have decided that we will not do that. And otherwise we had to write a check, and it just didn't make sense. And I hate that. I absolutely hate it. And we're all tired of hearing that speech, but that is the speech. And instead of doing that, we're talking about now having perhaps a day outside, a Rotary Day. There is an amphitheater in Fairhope, and we could have that amphitheater and have a picnic and have the awards. One of the things that happens at the district conference is we have all kinds of awards, dozens and dozens of awards. And Skip, bless his heart, was driving all over the state trying to deliver the awards that he was supposed to give out when his had to be canceled. And so at the moment, we're still working with that, but the idea would be to come up to Fairhope, and it's outside. It's a huge field, but there's an amphitheater. And so there'll be no reason for anyone to feel like we're crowded, because we won't be. And we can have games for kids, and we can have the awards, and we can have a picnic, and we can have fellowship, and do all that in a 6-7 hour period of time. Because I don't know about you, but I am absolutely, the idea of that would be the last function for this particular district leadership team. And the idea of not being able to do something here at the very end of the year is a very hard thing to accept. And so that would be on Saturday, June, sorry, Bruce, June the 19th. And that's what we're thinking about, and more details will come. We don't absolutely have permission yet to use the amphitheater, but we've got some people that we think will help us do that. So if you don't mind penciling, don't write it heavily, just pencil in June the 19th, so that we might be able to salvage one day to get together and have some fellowship and deliver the awards and have a good time together. So that's coming up very quickly. Today, I suspect most of you have already heard this, but today, Sam, you're the guy that conveyed the information. Why don't you tell us about Taipei?
Sure. As the zone promoter, I received a message from the international president today, along with a lot of other people, announcing and acknowledging that we would not be doing an in-person international conference in Taipei. And what they're going to do instead is a virtual conference virtual international conference. The information for that has not come out yet, but anybody that may have signed up or thought about signing up for the Taipei trip, which honestly, if you look at Taipei, Taiwan on the internet and look what kind of city it is absolutely fabulous. It's a great loss, but the experience that they have used to do virtual conferences at the Rotary Institutes that have been held around the country have been successful enough that they're going to try to do a virtual conference for the international conference. So more information will follow as we learn about that, but I'm sorry to announce that particular aspect of cancellations.
We hope that all the efforts that are being made to get the different vaccines out, we hope that's going to be successful, but nothing that I read would seem to indicate that that's next month, next week. Everything seems to be saying now we've got these, what do you call it? It's not the virus, but it's a takeoff of the virus, forget the word. But so we're not out of the woods, but we certainly need to continue to be together and continue to be doing things, talking to each other. And I think I hope that light is around the corner. And maybe by September 1st, I'm just, as you do as well, just hoping that maybe by September 1st, we would be in a position where we would be able to begin to do some things together.
I thought it was July 1st. Yeah.
Beg pardon?
I thought it was July 1st.
Well, I was hoping that by September 1st, you would be able to do whatever you want to do. That's what we're hoping for. But no one knows. So we've been here for a year and we'll continue to be here, it sounds like. But we have to stress safety. I was thinking, Sam, about you got 30,000 people already registered for Taipei. And so maybe it would be 40,000 people. And I was thinking about 40,000 people trying to go to a conference, flying from all over the world. Wow, what a challenge, which is obviously one of the main reasons that it's not going to be happening. But I hope very soon that all facets of Rotary will be running full speed, because it really is a relational organization. It's a get together and have a good time and do good things together. And I hope that that's going to happen very soon. And about a quarter into Skip's term, things begin to happen. And then, of course, ever since. So, but I hope very soon that they're going to be able to come along with the vaccines and things are going to get back to where we are. And I hope for you president-elects that when you start as president on July the 1st, that it'll be a fantastic year. Enjoy your Rotary experience, and may your club have as a top priority doing things for other people. In Rotary, we call it service above self. And I hope you have a very successful year. We need leaders. And so, Bruce, I'm skipping now to the next item, leaders in Rotary. And I was going to just introduce, it'd be about 5 seconds each, just so people can see faces and see names, because these are 5 people, names that you want to know. And these are going to be some of the former RI presidents and some of the future RI presidents, like Barry Rassin from East Nassau. He was 2018-2019 president. 2019-2020, Mark Maloney. People are surprised when they find out that, wait a minute, you don't mean Decatur, Alabama, do you, that we had a Rotary International president? And he was, and not only was he from there, but he was a super guy, still is. Right now, you've got Holger Kanak, and I have the privilege of having this picture that we were able to take when we were at Assembly last January. And Holger said, now what, Jerry, what I really need for you to do is come up here and just sit for several hours and just tell me what you think. I just need to hear. No, I'm making a joke. It was about every 7 seconds, Holger was taking another picture. So you had to move very quickly or you're going to be in the picture, the next picture, just as you're walking away. Super guy in 7 seconds. And, but I'm very proud of the fact that Cynthia and I were able to get a picture taken with him. In 2122, you're going to have Shekhar Mehta. And if I mispronounce that name, I apologize. It's certainly not intentional. From India. And then the last person I wanted to for you to see, for you club presidents, maybe who are brand new president-elects, is Jennifer Jones. And you notice not only does she have a picture, but unlike most of us, she's on Time magazine. And that's because she is going to be the first woman Rotary International president in the history of the organization, which goes way back. So that's fantastic. And I've had the privilege, Cynthia and I have, of hearing Jennifer speak. And so we're going to be in good hands with her leadership. And I'm very pleased, way past time, to have a woman as Rotary International president. So I wanted you to see those 5 folks, the last 2 and the current one, and then the next 2 who are coming up as Rotary International president. And that's all at this point, Bruce, I need to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jerry. I need to slip back to a slide and make sure that you know that your district DG line consists of course, Bruce McNeil, 21-22, Dale Goodwin in 22-23, and Mr. Graham Champion, district governor nominee. Jerry, did he get any black balls thrown at him in the last 2 weeks?
5 or 6, but I'm working through them. I'm trying to call some people in.
I bet he'll be approved. What you think? Now,
I
Graham,
imagine so, yes.
since I mentioned your name, we really need to get that 4-way test in. So if you, everybody else is muted, but if you'll lead us in that 4-way test, I would appreciate it.
The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Graham. Let me go back down to slide 10, if you don't mind. What I want to do here, ladies and gentlemen, this is your district leadership team for 21 and 22, which will begin July 1st. But let me go ahead and share that with you. Your district governor will be Bruce McNeil. Secretary chair will be Dale Goodwin. Graham Champion again as district governor nominee, and Jim Golson, the vice chair. A lot of you may not know what a vice chair is. If the guy that I first mentioned, the McNeil guy, isn't able to complete his year, Golson's got plenty of experience and he can slip right in and Skip won't even be missed, not Skip Doctorow. Jerry will move from district governor to College of Governor president, and then other members of the leadership team. And we may give you some additional information a little bit later about some of these positions, but Carla Serhan is district governor aide and special projects. She's from the Dothan Tuesday Club. Janet Morgan Bailey, district secretary. She's out of the Montgomery Sunrise, and she recently presented our secretary training and did an outstanding job. Linda Mong from Fairhope will again return as the Rotary Foundation chair, and Mary Beth Maddox, the district public image and PR chair. Miss Wendy Foss, she'll have her hands full with district membership. She's out of the Fairhope Sunset Club. Josh Chapman and James Skip Doctorow will be new club development co-chairs. And Dixie Broadwater out of Opelika, she'll be the district club mentoring chair. And if you think that you can tell Dixie, no, you got another thing coming. Because you can't tell that lady with a beautiful, sweet face, no, I can assure you that. Membership and diversity is extremely important. So we're tag teaming this year with Ariel Chavez. He's out of the Mobile Club. He'll district diversity co-chair. Along with him is the co-chair also by Mel Patel, and he is out of the Dothan Tuesday Club. Now, returning, if I can move something out of the way here so I can see my slide. Returning as club visiting chair is Barry Cavan. He's done that for several years. Howard Eddy, not only is he an assistant district governor, but he's also a district governor coordinator rather, but he's also the Rotary Leadership Institute chair. And I bet he'll share more of that with us in a little bit. Howard is from the Fairhope. Now, new to the assistant governor position is Sandy Bynum out of Elba. She's in Area 7. I can get my slide to move for me. Jennifer Chisholm from Atmore, Area 5 Assistant District Governor. And Jennifer was an assistant governor several years ago. She's coming back, so she's coming back with experience. Now, Hunter Compton, he'll be new as an assistant governor for Area 1. He is out of Demopolis, Alabama. Another assistant governor coming back is Huey House Mack from the Central Baldwin Sunset Club. And then Sam Marshall, returning as assistant governor from the Montgomery Sunset Club for Area 2. And then also returning for Area 11, rather, for the Prattville Millbrook Sunrise is Roy McCauley. An old timer, Ken Robinson, assistant governor out of Mobile, Area 9, and Troy, Alabama. You'll find Keith Rowland. If anybody wants to know where Orion, Alabama is, you ask Keith and he'll tell you. Keith is assistant governor for Area 4. Out of the Dothan Tuesday Club, we have Michael Smith, Area 8, assistant governor. And out of Fairhope, Bob Walsh, Area 6, assistant governor. Robert Greer is returning polio produce chair. Any of you that participated in the Purple Pinky fundraiser, you know Sam Adams and Robert Greer quite well, I promise. We did a great job doing that. Tom Mann returning as the training coordinator for the district. Any and all things related to disasters, just ask Jericho Wilson, doing a fantastic job, and he's returning as disaster relief chair. Maggie Hammond, she's agreed to be the chair of the Rotary Center for Excellence. We'll give you more information on that later. Donna Kelly returning as RILA chair. We hope to goodness we get to have an on-site RILA next year. Adam Williams for Rotaract. Adam is out of the Dothan Outlaw Club. Leslie Cowell, Interact co-chair, along with Sal Gray, Interact co-chair. There's a lot of schools in the district, and we thought we'd break it up a little bit this year and be a little more aggressive, working toward that. We hope the COVID is out of the way so we can make some headway. We are revitalizing the youth exchange chair, or program rather, and our chair is Ulrich Bloomfield, and he's out of the Montgomery Sunrise. So we're excited about that. It's hard to get started until COVID gets out of the way. Assistant governor, I did not mention earlier, because he's in a different location here, but Bob Cochran, not only is he assistant governor, but he's also the youth exchange protection officer. He is from Lee County, Sunrise, and he's assistant governor for Area 3. We will be doing some District 4 four-way test competition in the district next year. Jessica Hoagland, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She'll be the chair for that. Willis Smithman, we just felt like as important as Camp Astor was, we needed a liaison, and he's been previously on the board at Camp Astor, and he's going to chair that for us and keep our clubs active. Returning as District Grant Committee Chair is Andrea Saucer. She's out of Monroeville. The drug problem in our nation is not a pretty sight, guys. So John Gormley, he'll be the District Drug Convention Chair. I'll give you some more information on that as the days and weeks come by. District Communication Officers, that belongs to Jimmy Hill and Eric Lewis. And we have several zone representatives. One is Sam Adams. The other is Bob Callahan. The other is Richard Bollinger, who's also a chair. Now, our newsletter, hopefully all of you know Kathy Hughes. And then our distinguished Bob Mills is taking care of the dollar price. Sam, how exciting is it to be president of your Rotary Club?
Well,
What's all
first
the
of all,
excitement about?
I really want to welcome all these new presidents that are going to be here starting in July. It is going to be a great trip. And I can tell you, most of the leadership in our district have had presidential leadership at one point or another. And it is an exciting time for you. But in order to make the best out of your club experience, you really need to be prepared. And it's really a window of opportunity right now to get fired up about what Rotary is and what Rotary does and how you can be a part of it. So I'm just encouraging you, please take a hold of this opportunity and bring everything you have to the game. Because what happens is if you wait till the last minute, the last week of June and say, oh yeah, I'm going to be the president of my club this year. Maybe I need to learn something. You're way behind the curve. Right now is a great opportunity for you to just start thinking about what your goals are. Every one of you have different viewpoints on things and, you know, different passions about what you want to do. This is your opportunity to do it. And you've got to bring that to the club in a way where they are going to be enthusiastic and excited. So I just want to encourage all of y'all to try to learn as much as you can about this in the PETS program that you're going to be participating in. You're going to learn just a very bird's eye view, 40,000 feet above the ground view here tonight. But you have the opportunity as an incoming president to utilize the resources that our district governor and our district staff can provide, as well as the resource material that's provided by Rotary. It's a lot to take in, but it's worthwhile. It'll make you, that first day of your term as president, you'll look and say, I am ready and I am fired up and I want to tell y'all what we're going to be doing and how we're going to do it. So I just want to encourage all of y'all to be on fire for Rotary. And as you get prepared by July 1st, you will be a star and you will be a leader for this district. So I encourage all of y'all to buckle up and fly right and have a great time.
President-elect, we just shared with you our leadership team for next year. And you're not alone, I promise. Just a phone call. If you're struggling with something, you're not sure about something, we're just a phone call away and we're there to help. Now, I would like to pause for a second. We'll do this several times during the session today. If you have a question or a thought, if you want to share with us, just unmute and share.
Bruce, this is Graham. To build on what Sam was saying, the one thing that I would advise presidents-elect is to consult with past presidents. It's amazing how willing they are to help, the insight that they'll give you, and the help that they can provide. But don't forget to call on the folks that have been there before you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Ms. Skip, the COVID-19 pandemic began in your DG year. What challenges did you have and what challenges do you see going forward? And how can club presidents meet the challenge and help their clubs thrive?
Okay, thank you, Bruce. And again, I echo Sam's welcome, all you incoming presidents. You're in for a ride of your life. It's going to be a ball. I was 6 months into my term. We managed to get through the summer and get through some things, kind of mid-year conference. And then I got to go spend 4 or 5 days down at Ryla. Came back and thinking my district conference is coming up and it's going to be great. And then I got an email and it said that Rotary International says we're going to cease and desist meeting until the end of the year. And I said, oh no, among other things. So the challenge was, okay, what do you do now? Well, first, I just looked at the situation and said, you know, that's really not an acceptable course of action for us. We're gonna rather lean toward what the state health officer and governor say in terms of the size of meetings and so forth. So I sent out an email real quick, and I guess the first point is you need to be able to communicate. And communication was one of the keys. I had a great group of people helping me, and we got the word out quickly to all the your predecessors and said, hey guys, you know, this is what's going on, and this is what RI is saying. Here's what we think might be a better, more prudent course of action. And we went from there. Over the next couple of weeks, this was in March, about March 13th. Over the next couple of weeks, we purchased the Zoom package so we could use that as our platform. And then I began to assemble the presidents by zone, by their AG assignment. And we had just like this, a fireside chat on Zoom. We talked about what the situation was. They told me what their situation was. Many of them lost their place to meet. They lost members. They lost contact with members. And so we began developing a strategy that we could help them overcome some of these things. I guess the biggest thing there is you need to prepare a message of opportunity and guidance. You know, the district level folks, we're here to help, but it's your club and you're the leader. You're the one that the club members are going to look to for guidance and direction. So we felt it important that the district communicate, provide as much information as we could to the presidents and keeping them appraised of where we were getting our information and also where they could find similar information. After we began these meetings and we got through all the areas, we began to check what is the pulse of the district. How many clubs are actually meeting? How many are not? By now we're talking the time frame is late April. And some of our clubs were beginning to think about getting back. You may recall that the governor said we could begin meeting in small groups. And that's when we found that so many clubs had the unexpected happen. They were meeting in restaurants that were no longer open. They were meeting at hospitals and they were closed to their meetings. And what do? You have a group of people who want to meet, but you don't have a place to meet. So we began brainstorming and coming up with suggestions. Meeting outdoors. We had some great examples of clubs who took the bull by the horns, went out and had service projects where they actually did something in their community, and it was a way to draw their members back together. Because in spite of all this, we are a fellowship. We are people who like to be with one another. And while Zoom is a very convenient platform for us to conduct meetings and disseminate information, it does not take the place of that in-person camaraderie and fellowship. So as I continued and as the calendar moved forward, Jerry mentioned he and I were in a lot of communication. I was scrambling to get awards out and he was helping, and we were just all over the state visiting with individuals, not clubs, because clubs was very slow to get back together. And finally, I think the thing that I tried to stress throughout the remainder of my tenure was we need to really keep encouraging all Rotarians to stay engaged. You know, if you stop meeting, if you stop going to your club meeting, if you miss the first meeting, well, oh, darn, I'll be there next week. And if you miss a second meeting, it's, oh, well, something got in the way. You miss that third meeting, and it becomes real easy for Rotary to become a secondary idea. So as a club president, one of the things you really, need to be looking at is that keeping that engagement up, keeping them involved in Rotary. And if your club is going to be continually meeting on Zoom, you need to be thinking about ways that you can engage them in an arena, in a venue that's going to be safe for them and provide you some opportunity for fellowship. And I think, Bruce, the second part, you asked me what I see going forward.
Yes.
Well, the key to good leadership is having a vision for your club. Where do you want them to go? Each of your clubs has a rich history of involvement, engagement, and community service and fellowship, socials. You've got all this rich history behind you, and you don't want to lose that. So you need to be looking at what kind of vision can you present for your club. Yeah, we've been in a pandemic for 10 months, but what's your club been doing? Most of your clubs have been doing something since June, July, and you need to keep that momentum going, but putting your spin on it, because you're the incoming president. All eyes will be on you. What are we going to do, Cheryl? What are we going to do, Mark? There's going to be these questions. They may not be verbal, but they'll be there. And again, I think communication is one of the key tools in your toolbox. How, communicating with your club, both at your regularly scheduled meeting time, but also off times. Nothing makes a member feel better than have a phone call from another member or the president of the club saying, hey, how you doing? It's that constant engagement, that connectivity that will keep our Rotary Club strong. I suspect some of our clubs are losing some members, and it may be that they haven't actually resigned, but perhaps they just haven't been engaged in anything your club's been doing the past couple of months. Now's a good time to reach out to them, re-engage them, get them back into it. And again, as a president of your club, the club looks to you to provide the direction of what you're going to do. What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish in the coming year, in spite of COVID or any of the other things that may come our way? Your club is made up of fellow people who share the same love of service, community, and camaraderie and fellowship. And as a club leader, you get to kind of keep that alive. So, the thing is, I guess the last word would be, don't lose the momentum. And if your momentum's a little slow, kickstart it. Again, you're going to have a great time. And the only thing I would caution you about is this time in July of next year, you don't want to look back and say, I wish I'd have done something. It's your year. Make the best of it. And again, congratulations. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Skip. Now, we have over 2,000 plus world-class Rotarians in this district. But when I think about committed Rotarian, I think back during a House bill, we were trying to build a house after a tornado in our district, and a guy coming off major surgery shows up to help build his house. Now that's a committed Rotarian. Your wife wasn't real happy with you, Skip, but you were committed. Oh, let's see if we get the slide to move here. There we go. Jim, share with us.
Yes, sir.
Of the club president's responsibility. I know this is a 12-hour lecture, but try to condense it for us.
Well, I'll try to keep mine pretty short, but I want to say to begin with, you'll hear a lot tonight and at PETS and talking to other folks about the mechanics of being the club president. I want to remind you that being club president doesn't start July 1st. It's already started. So I would tell you, be aware of the things you need to do between now and July 1st. So there are a few of them on here. The first one, preside over club and board meetings. Well, that's kind of a given, and you've probably already figured that one out. But the second one may not be so simple. Appoint your committee chairs and your members for those committees. Now, I'm from the Auburn Club, and I know the committee structure for each club is different. We got a pretty good sized club, over 100 members, and we got something like 35 committees, and each one of them has a chair and members. When I was governor and went around to other places, some of the clubs said, we don't even have 35 members. I said, well, that's fine. Set up your committees, what makes sense for you, but you need to get on with it. Club assemblies, that's something that we might call that a business meeting, but you ought to plan those. The suggestion is to have one of those every quarter. So you ought to begin thinking about that. Create a budget. Now's the time to do your budget. Look at this year, look at past years, and think about an annual audit. Now, unless I'm wrong, an audit is not required. We call it a review. And a review is the accountants will tell us is a little more simple, but you need somebody to look at the books and certify that you're handling the financial area appropriately. Develop a safe environment. You don't want to have anybody coming in from the rain, slipping on the floor and breaking a leg. So think about things like that. And then, of course, work with your district governor and your assistant governor. And I want to jump back to the very top of this screen. It says, as president, you lead and motivate your club, ensuring that club members feel valuable, inspired, and connected to each other. Now, that's very important, and that's not going to show up in a lot of places. I want to tell you, I'm sort of a perfectionist, I guess some people would say. But when I got ready to be club president, I had read all this stuff. I had it worked out. I had a big PowerPoint presentation where I showed I was aware of all these things that the club presidents are supposed to do. And I gave it to our club the week before the transition in officers occurred. And afterward, I had one of our older members come up and say, Jim, that was a pretty poor presentation. You missed the most important thing. And I'm thinking, now, Harold, I don't know about that. Tell me, Harold, what did I miss? He said, Jim, you didn't have anything in there about having fun. And you know, he was right. I went back and revised things, and we then put together 5 opportunities to have fun. And fun was working together on projects. We had meetings where we had families invited. We had a lot of fun. So I would encourage you, as you're preparing, think about having fun. And then if you look down in this next group, how to prepare, we've already hit on a number of those, but take online courses. Wow, Rotary International has a tremendous number of courses now that can help you prepare to be ready to be a club president. And then this is a big one that sometimes people are a little scared about, but some of you may have heard about the idea of a weakness, opportunity, and threats and goals. Well, that's something that you need to do. Don't do it by yourself. Get your prospective officers together, get a team together, and really look carefully at what are your club's strengths? What are your club's weaknesses? What are you going to do to overcome the weaknesses and to take advantage of your strengths? And that can go a long way to do 2 things. It can make your club members aware of the results of that, and it can help you in setting up your plans for the year. Then develop the action plan. You've heard that mentioned several times and will some more. Appoint your committee chairs. Again, you are a leader, not the person that has to do everything. So put your board together, put your committee chairs together, get them ready and begin working with them before July 1st. Continuity. You know, it's important to not start every year from zero. I won't name names, but several years ago, I had a an incoming district governor meet with me, and we talked about this for district planning. And I said, well, great. How are you getting the current leadership together? And he said, I don't want to talk to them about it. We're going to do this all on our own. And I thought, you are really missing the advantage of a lot of leadership by not including current and past district governors. I would say this to you as club president-elects, you will be missing a lot of opportunity if you don't include current and past club leadership. So get that done, and please attend the PETS. Even though it'll be virtual this year, it's still an opportunity to learn an awful lot. And attend the district assessment, the assembly, a district training assembly. In other words, attend everything you can think of. And I guess the final thing I would say here is it's true. You are the president-elect of your club, but you are the interface typically to the district. And only by attending these district sessions can you effectively learn what's going on above the club level and be able to pass that back to your members. Because Rotary is not just a group where we get together and have lunch once a week. It's an organization that is powerful around the world. And therefore, you are the person that can take that back to your members. Bruce, I'm going to quit there and not take up too much time. But I will say this. One of the things that I've done for a number of years, haven't been asked to this year, probably won't, is talk about planning at the president level. So if any of you have any questions about planning, I'd be glad to talk with you on that. Got a nice slideshow that we could easily work through. So Bruce, it's back to you.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Now, Barry, Graham, you've been in a lot of board situations and corporate situations. Just how important is the Rotary Club board?
Yeah, Bruce, it's incredibly important. I believe that the phrase inclusion means involvement. And if you don't include the folks that are on your board, they're not going to be involved in what you're doing. What we've done in our club is we've tried to have members of our board be committee chairs, have them share various projects that we're doing. We meet at least once a month. We talk, we plan, but we're involved, and we look to the board for input. We also look to the board to see who are going to be our future leaders. In our club, our bylaws say that to get into the chain to become the vice president and president-elect, you've got to be a member of the board. So it's a leadership development opportunity within our club. This year, we're doing some things in the Montgomery Rotary Club. We're bringing in some younger members. We're trying to diversify the board some, but including the board in what's going on in the planning, and listening to what the board members have to say makes a huge, huge difference. Organizations can have a board where you go in and you rubber stamp what the leadership wants, what the executive committee wants, what the officers want. In our situation, we have a board that is not afraid to speak up and say, no, really don't think that's going to work. Why don't we look at so-and-so?
My picture was right over here.
Yeah. Jim, you may want to mute your mic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But, as I say, if you involve your board, if you include your board in decision-making, it'll make a huge difference, and it will be a great, great leadership development opportunity for your club.
Well,
Bruce,
thank
back to
you,
you.
Barry, my boys taught me a long time ago, it was just easier to do it myself. But on the board level, the corporate level, that's not necessarily the case, is it?
In the corporate level, no, not necessarily. You listen to the CEO.
Yeah.
The thing is, in a Rotary Club, everybody's a volunteer, and you can't fire a volunteer.
Yeah.
You got to be open to new ideas. You got to be open to suggestions, and you got to be open to change.
Okay. Barry, that question goes to you also. How important is putting the right person in the right place for a successful year?
Governor Bruce, thank you for that. I was sitting here listening to some of our past district governors and incoming leadership speak about this, and just about every one of them touched a part of this. We already know that our Rotary clubs have done their due diligence in selecting their president-elects. And we know that they're in place right now. And the one fear I have is that they're worried about, oh God, where do we go now? What do we do? And who do I put where? How do I set up my board? How do I set up my club? I think it's important to understand that this is a club that you're going to put your influence on, like past district governor Skip talked about. It's going to be a club that you're going to be the one that's going to appointing committee chairs and committees, like Jim mentioned. And, you know, it's a club that you're going to set up the goals. Now, you're going to have influence from other people, but I say all of that to say that, you know, you can and you will be able to look into your club based on what your goals are and your expectations, and pick the right people to lead that club in that direction. Now, I want to go back to goals for a second, because everything I will talk about in the next couple of minutes deals with goals. And goals are very important. I will tell you that I did visit a club one time during my year as governor, and I asked the club president if I'd mentioned to the club president that I had viewed their goals online, which I did before I went to any club, and that I appreciated what they put on there, but would they consider making those goals a little bit more than what they were the prior year? And that particular club president looked at me, and this is a very nice club, and she says, no, we kind of like where we are right now. We don't think we need to change anything. Well, that may be your situation. I don't think that is. I think that as a member of that club, you've seen things that you would like to have as a goal to change or to improve on. So let me say this to you, that it's important that you understand what your goals are. And the way I remember setting up goals was using the word SMART. You got to excuse me, I come from a long line of educators. I was not one, but they always use these things. And goals being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. And if you've got your goals set up, then you can start looking for people to be your committee chairs and to serve on those committees. Some general considerations you might want to have is that you want to have as your committee chairs people that have a commitment to the club, people that are willing to spend sufficient time to devote to the club work and committee work, individuals that have an understanding of the role of the committee, people that have leadership skills, especially in your chairs, and a willingness to accept that responsibility. Two last ones I think are most important. One of them is listening skills. And the last one is the ability to use the technology that your club utilizes to communicate with its members. I think once you've looked at what those basic considerations or general considerations are, and you've looked at your goals, that you can start thinking about who in your club you want to serve as committee chair or on a committee. And I think you need to start that right away. There's nothing that any of us can tell you what to do or how to do in your specific club when it comes to your goals. Those are your goals. And there's nothing we can tell you or recommend about who you should put in a certain place of leadership underneath you. So don't be afraid of talking to folks and seeing if there's an interest there in doing something. Also remember, appoint committee chairs based on their skills. And once you've made that appointment, make sure you put that on My Rotary, on the RI site. That's very important. Prepare your club's leadership team for the coming year. Tell your leadership team what all the goals are. Make sure they understand these, and there may be some crossover between teams and between chairs. And the last thing is, you need to provide that continuity of leadership between what you're doing, what you're projecting, what's been done, and what's going to be done in the future. I hope this has been helpful. And that's all I have on picking the right person for the job. Bruce, you're muted, Bruce.
As I was saying, anybody that knows anything about having fun in Rotary has got to be Sam Adams. If he could take a jar of pickles, full of pickle juice, and let somebody pour it over his head for $1,000 and make a big show out of it, Sam Adams can. Sam, what's the big deal about having fun and fellowship in Rotary? And why is membership so important? Membership satisfaction, rather.
Well, I was hoping most people had forgotten about the pickle experience and had moved on to something else. But first I want to mention a couple of the presidents that are listening with us. I want to bring up Mark and Chris and Chip and Elizabeth. Hopefully y'all are listening here, and feel free to pitch in any ideas that your clubs have experienced in fun and fellowship that are important. And to be honest with you, most Rotarians don't really go for the food. At least at our club, that's probably the bottom reason why people go to eat. Occasionally we have some pretty good speakers, but speakers aren't really the thing that people want to hear at all. Really, the focus for all successful clubs is about the fun and fellowship you have with your fellow Rotarians. And there's no question about that. Oh, and I do want to say something, I think it was Elizabeth mentioned in a chat note. She asked if this slideshow was going to be available later after this program, and I believe it will be.
Yes.
So anybody that is not able to take notes or wants to share it with others in your club, it certainly will be available. But fellowship and fun are keystones of Rotary. And it's that old adage, I don't know if y'all are familiar with it, but your Rotaries really don't, your Rotarian members in your club really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. And it goes to the truth that you have to make your club experience enjoyable. And that is only done by having two criteria: fun and fellowship. And these can be accomplished in a number of ways. And I don't know if Mark or Chris or Elizabeth have a suggestion for that. We do it in all kinds of different ways. And I'm sure all the past district governors here can relate to a lot of good stories. The biggest one that came to mind in this thing was the fellowship of the Purple Pinky Project, which had something to do with polio. And we'll talk about that maybe down the road a little bit. But it was an incredible opportunity for all the clubs in the district to join hands, join together, and accomplished a great thing. And I don't know if you ever heard the results of that, but we raised over, as a collective with all the other Rotary clubs, over $1 million. And that was a terrific thing. But it wasn't easy. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of donuts. It was a lot of getting up in the morning and moving and driving and stuff like that. But the fellowship that was drawn from individual clubs and the individual members in those clubs was phenomenal. And I will give credit to Governor Bruce here because of all the clubs out of, I think there were 300 clubs participating in the Purple Pinky, Dothan outscored everybody. They raised more money than anybody else in 4 districts. And that was an incredible accomplishment, but they did it because they had fun. And fun doesn't just appear. It's up to you to initiate the kind of things that can help people get motivated to work together and laugh and joke and have fun. And there are all kinds of ways to do that. I know one club that they have a way where you donate $1 and they can tell of a good thing that happened or some fine that they're going to give, and they joke about that, and that's a pretty good idea. Another club raises money by pulling a card out of a deck of cards, and they share the pot with the Rotary Foundation. And that winter, I happened to be sitting at the table of this guy who drew the ace of spades out of the deck. He won $2,500. He was having fun. And that's the way you have to do it sometimes. You do some weird things. It's one of those things where you, as a president, have to come up with some way to attract your members to join together in either club events or bigger events. And you can do that not necessarily exclusively with Rotary, but also in partnership with other organizations, whether it's the YMCA, whether it's a local church, maybe it's from first responders. You can do that by doing fellowship. And I remember Skip and I went over not too long ago when we had those horrible tornadoes over in Lee County. And it was an incredible effort to watch Rotarians combine, work together, raise money. They donated food firsthand. They handed out cups of coffee, and it culminated in building a house for one of the families that lost everything. So these are just ideas about how important fun is. It's really a great thing to do. I don't know if Mark or Chris or Elizabeth or Chip want to pitch in. Do y'all have any comments about that, one way or the other? If not, it's no big deal. You can put it in the chat if you want to and share it with the group. But the point being is your club is not going to really elevate itself until your club members are excited about going to the meeting, and their excitement will permeate or go out in the community. And it is one of the best ways to recruit new members to join by having a lot of fun. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea how much I think and how important it is to have fun and have fellowship. And hopefully you'll enjoy that too. Now, I think I've also been asked, is the member satisfaction really important to this? Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. And the statistics have been this way for a long, long time in Rotary. We lose a lot of Rotarians. We're good about bringing people into Rotary, but sadly, we lose a lot of members within the first couple of years simply because they were not satisfied with the product that was being served. They are the customer. Rotary is the thing that brings us together, but each Rotarian is a customer, and they are expecting a product. And if we don't produce a good product, then the product is not going to be taken. And sadly, in Rotary, I think literally lose a lot of people in that first and second and third year where they can't see the fellowship, they can't see the service, they can't see the fun. So it's incumbent on you to push that as an important aspect. Use your board, use your past presidents for advice, and then poll your club. Say, what would y'all like to do instead of having a meeting? Do y'all want to go to the movie together? Or would y'all like to go fishing at somebody's pond? It doesn't matter. It's up to you to initiate some great ideas to have fun. And that way, having the fun and the fellowship, that way you'll have satisfied members. And not only will they be satisfied, they'll stay and they'll bring other people in. So I'm just encouraging you all, recognize how important membership satisfaction is. And I will say, this is a little off topic, but when you get on Rotary.org, there is a designation in there for people who are looking for clubs. And it's low-hanging fruit is what I call it, where people want to join Rotary and you have an opportunity. You'll be notified if somebody's in your area that's interested. Reach out to them and let them know that you're an exciting club, a club with a vision, and a club that enjoys fun and fellowship. And with that, I'll pass it back to Governor Bruce.
Thank you, Sam. Let's get this thing changed. Now, Barry, if you would give us a bird's eye view of club visioning and strategic planning, please.
Glad to, Bruce. Let me start off by saying that Rotary International thinks that strategic planning is so important that it's literally the first topic in the Rotary International President's Manual. It is important that we know where we're going and hopefully how we're going to get there. Some clubs have got strategic plans in place, and those clubs are pretty successful. Some clubs don't have strategic plans in place, and they're not necessarily successful. Clubs that follow that plan, a strategic plan, usually report a higher level of member engagement, retention, satisfaction. In other words, they're having fun, like Sam was just talking about. Clubs with more engaged members are more successful at achieving their goals. We've talked a lot about goals tonight. So the use of strategic plan is very important. Now, one of the ways that you can start, if you have not got a strategic plan, or if you just like to know a little bit more about your club and what your membership thinks about your club, is to do club visioning. Now, club visioning has been traditionally an in-person project. Is where we would sit down with a number of your membership as a visioning team, and we would discuss and actually give the members of your club the opportunity to discuss and talk about various parts of what makes up your club. For example, your club size, how is your club viewed in the community? Does your club like to fundraise? And if so, how much? And what do they like to do? It was just it's a conversation that we're able to look at the inner workings of your club. And as we go through that process, we're able to present back to the club what they've told us and essentially give them a status report as of right then of where you are, where you would like to be, and your strategic plan then would be a process to start at where you are and work to those goals. It is a way to help recruit. We talked about membership earlier, and membership is so important. Greg Yank, who passed away recently, a Rotary International board member, previous Rotary International board member, he used to have a costume that he wore, and there were various other people that wore the other half of the costume. Larry Lunsford was another one, and there were two M&Ms, and they talked about membership and they talked about money. Those were the M&Ms. And, visioning is a way to look at where you are membership-wise and where you think you need to be membership-wise. We've had clubs that we did a visioning with that had a large membership, well over 100, that thought that a membership of less than 100 would be more apropos for their club. So, or we've had ones with a smaller membership that thought a much larger membership would be appropriate for their clubs. So the visioning process that we use is a great process. Let me tell you that, like I said earlier, traditionally we did this in person. There's a team of anywhere from 4 to 7 people that went out and met with representatives of the club. And with COVID, as was mentioned earlier by our current governor, Jerry, that stopped a lot of in-person activities. Visioning was one of those. For the last several months, there's been a team from the International Visioning Facilitators Council that have actually put together a virtual visioning program. And our team in our district, there are 9 of us right now on the team, will be looking at our ability to take visioning from an in-person process to a virtual process. We've actually found that some districts like the virtual process concept so much that they're going to go totally virtual with theirs. We haven't discussed that. My guess is we'll probably look at doing some virtual until COVID is a thing of the past, and then look at the possibilities of potential of doing them in person or virtual. But the point is that visioning is a tremendous exercise. Those clubs that have been involved with it have enjoyed it. My personal club has actually done it twice, and that's a good idea because it was 3 years apart, and we're able to look at where were we in the process, in our strategic process of meeting the goals that was started in our visioning process. So I encourage you to not only look at the visioning as a first step or as an additional step, even if you have a strategic plan, but that each and every club president look at having some strategic planning in place. Because what was the old saying? If you don't know where you're going, how do you know when you get there? I think it's important that our clubs know where they're going. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Barry. Now, Tom, we could spend a lot of time on DAC-DB, and that's a course on its own, but if you will, especially for time, just kind of give us some major bullet points of DAC-DB, please.
Okay, I can do that. First thing that you guys wanted me to talk about was why is it important to have your club and your personal data input into DAC-DB. First start off by saying if you need to know the difference between DAC-DB and Rotary.org. I know that sounds simple, but those are 2 separate programs. DAC-DB stands for District and Club Database, and these are designed for the districts and the clubs to use to communicate with each other. And that's the key for DAC-DB is communication. As a club president, it is very vital that you become well-versed in this program, not only for looking up club members' information, but you can send out what they call P-mails. You can send an email to everyone in your club at one time, or you can pull a different person out if you're just sending a couple of them. But it's called P-mail through the system, and it personalizes the email, so it puts who they are and your all your information, and all you have to do is type in the heading of the letter or the body of the email, and it does all that for you. But why do we need all our information in there? Well, it's for us to learn about our clubs. If everybody puts their name and they put their age and they put their gender, things like that, it helps you as a club president to see where your shortcomings are in your club, what you need to be targeting, what for your membership, what demographic that you don't have. So there's, like I said, there's so much. And Bruce, I've offered this before, but I'll offer this in front of the president-elects to do a Zoom meeting just on DAC-DB and just on Rotary Club, Rotary.org, and My Rotary is that, and show you the differences of those. Okay. But those are the important reasons of why you need to do that. It is to be able to communicate with your club.
Well, thank you. Sam, real briefly, we do have a website. We have a district foundation website, and within it, we have a disaster relief site. Just give us a brief overview of that.
Sure. While I'm talking, all the president-elects, I'd like to do a quick poll through the chat function down at the bottom. And if you'll just type in yes or no to everyone, indicating that you have been on the district website or you have not. Either you put yes or no. It'd be interesting to see because a lot of president-elects are not familiar with this at all. To get to it, I'll give you the link. It's called Rotary6880.org. Okay, I'll say it again. Rotary6880.org. Now that is managed and run by the district officers, and we want to direct y'all to that because it gives a couple of information. I'll just tell you what the tabs are. The tabs on there include district news. If you have an event going on at your club, publicize it there. You can put documents in there, and there are documents for you to draw out. And I won't go into the detail, but there are a lot of valuable documents there. They also provide links to resources where you can get information. One of the most important things that we'd have there is your link to events and registrations. And even though we're not having an annual conference in person, there'll still be a registration location for you to go there. Also, it has a link for contacts, and it'll tie you back into DAC-DB and help you with the information about that. There's also a website relating to our district foundation as opposed to the large Rotary Foundation, and it's foundation.rotary6880.org. And it is exclusively set up to assist our district and surrounding districts and around the country when a disaster strikes. We have a very good disaster team, and the guys that are in charge of that have done a good job. We have equipment and we have money that can be dedicated toward disasters. And it's one of those things where we hopefully never have to go, but it is something that may happen. So again, let me repeat that link, foundation.rotary6880.org. And those two references, hopefully you'll have time to go to those. When you go to PETS, you'll have a little bit more information about it, but it's incredibly important that you stay in tune and communicating with the entire district through these two links. And that wraps up that portion, Bruce.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Jen, I think Tom has kind of gave us the difference between DAC-DB and Rotary Club Central. So if you would, again, this is an entire course by itself, we know that, but just kind of give us an overview quickly of My Rotary, the difference between My Rotary and Rotary Club Central. Just give us a little information there, please. Let's see, Jen, are you muted?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't figure, I couldn't find my unmute.
Okay.
Am I supposed to just see you, or how am I?
Well, you should be seeing a slide of My Rotary.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I guess everybody can see me.
Yes.
I don't know. It's kind of set up weird. Okay. My Rotary is the main place where you need to go and get familiar with. And I don't have, we're not doing all the slides tonight, but the presidents need to be familiar with this, and they need to make sure that the secretaries are familiar with this, because this is where you are going to update in myrotary.org or under Rotary International, but this is where you're going to put all of your goals. You're going to put your officers in there. This is where you're going to keep up with your membership. And one of the things that I really stressed the other night, which seems to be, is important to our club, is when the dues are due to the district and to Rotary International, they are going to look at how many active members that you have. So if your secretary is not kept up with the number of active members you have, say that you're looking at your roll and it says 46, but actually 3 or 4 of those people have resigned over the last maybe month or two, Rotary International and the district are going to charge you for the active members. So it's real important that your secretary keep up with this. It's not that difficult. It's just something that you're going to have to continue to do. And it's real easy to go in. Like I said, we're looking at how to manage it and the club administration, but okay, thanks. And let's see, I don't know if I can make it, I can't make it bigger, but that is the one thing that I would encourage you to do. We use DACDB at in the Montgomery Sunrise as well, but this is the main place that you need to make sure that everything is kept up to date, because this will register. Thank you for that. This registers when Paul Harris Fellows. It keeps you up to date with that, keeps you up to date with the current membership and with your finances. So was there anything else that you wanted me to touch on that, Bruce?
Well, I think you did an excellent job. Again, of course, the best way to do is get signed in, start playing with it, look, and you'll learn a lot that way. Hopefully, most of the club secretaries came to your training a few days ago, and they're proficient at it, but we're always available to give you more guidance. There are tons of training materials on DACDB, on My Rotary, Rotary Club Central. So there's plenty of information out there. Just have to look for it. If you need help, we're just a phone call away. Thank you.
Right, and I wanted to add that too, Bruce, that if it looks like, we did the training last week and it's just January. So if it looks like that there are some secretaries that had not been nominated yet or are still coming in, I'd be glad to do another training. I know that we recorded it and Bruce sent out the PowerPoint that we did. So it's available and there is a lot of experience. I know that coming out of being a secretary at Montgomery Sunrise for the past 6.5 years, I don't know everything, but I may know a few things. And I will reiterate again to the president that the secretary really is the foundation of the club, and they're the ones that keep everything organized. And it really makes a difference when you have a strong secretary that is able to organize those things for the president and make sure that you're on top of things. So anything that I can do to help throughout the district, I'm just an email or phone call away.
Thank you, Jana. Tom, we've actually already started about, when a president needs to get started. That's already been discussed. So I'm going to go on straight to Sam. Sam, just in case some of our participants don't understand all the workings of Rotary, share with us the layers of Rotary.
Sure. Before I do that, I want to give you a total on that poll that we took. About a third of the respondents have not been on our district website, but people like Ulrich and James, both of those guys have been on it, and a number of other people too. And so I encourage everybody, try to get on there, kind of learn your way around it. It will be updated and we'll have a lot of information there. So please make sure you can do that. As this chart shows and this little thing behind me indicates, we have a lot of structure in Rotary. And, we have 49 clubs in our district. And we are one of 530 districts, basically. And within that 530 districts, we have 34 zones. The map you see in front of you shows that we are in zone 30 there at the very bottom of Alabama. That drawing is not quite accurate, but it's close enough. And then zone 31 and zone 30 make up what's called the heart of America. We have over 35,000 clubs, and don't forget that Rotaract members, those guys that are either in the community or at a university or college, if you have a Rotaract club or a potential Rotaract club, they become Rotarians too. So that's an important aspect. We're sitting at about 1.2 million people. It's a big organization. I've got to encourage you, if you travel in any place, just about wherever you go, there'll be a Rotary Club. So please, please take advantage of your Rotary membership and enjoy that. But hopefully you'll understand that Rotary is made up of a lot of moving parts, and we've got a lot of people dedicated to your success. And please make sure you take every opportunity. And in closing, I did post both of those links on the chat room if you weren't able to write them down. Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Sam. Graham, public image is very important for Rotary. It's very important to membership. Share with us a little.
Well, you know, Bruce, I go back to something that I heard a long time ago, that you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. And Rotary is probably the premier civic club, service club that you're going to find in a community. And we just need to make sure that we do everything we can to advance what we're doing in the community. When we have a community project, when we have a service project, we need to work with the local media, with the TV, with newspapers, and make sure that they understand what it is that we're doing, and put out that good public face. The Rotary clubs in Montgomery, as a combined effort, did a combined project that we used district grant funds for, to enhance a Rotary park, became a dog park. And it has been a tremendous drawing factor for folks that are starting to move into the downtown area, into Lofton. The public image that Rotary's getting from that and the service that we're doing has been tremendous. So, you know, you put your foot forward, you let folks know what you're doing, you show what Rotary is all about, which is service above self. And as I said, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Well, thank you so much. Now, Howard, there's been change in Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI. Tell us about it.
There have. Bruce and incoming presidents. First of all, let me explain what RLI is. It's the Rotary Leadership Institute, as it says on the slide. And what that is every district has the opportunity, and in some cases, multiple districts come together to put on classes for Rotarians coming up. And frankly, for you, it's probably a little too late. Ideally, as a couple of the speakers have said, by this point in your journey as an incoming president, you hopefully have learned some of these things, even if you didn't get them through RLI. But I would encourage you to look up Rotary Leadership Institute, to contact us, and to get some of your incoming officers, the people that are up and coming in your club, or people that are just interested in Rotary, to attend the classes. And in that regard, what happened with COVID is early on, it used to be full Saturday at a physical location somewhere in the district or in the district above us. And it lasted pretty much 8 hours. And a lot of people had to drive there. They had to spend their own money on gas, those kinds of things. And you get a lot out of it, but it was very difficult to make all 3 sessions to graduate. So with COVID, the opportunity came up to look at online or virtual options. In your district, the leadership, the past district governor, the current district governor, and incoming district governor all agreed that we would look at a way to make this available to people that was easier, cheaper, and quicker. And so we partnered with Sunshine RLI, which is the district that's to the east of us, includes Atlanta, Georgia. They have been doing an online RLI for about 3 or 4 years and have instructors and material and everything down pat. So what we did is arrange to offer RLI through them online. And if you complete session 1, session 2, or session 3, and graduate any one of those, the district governors have agreed to reimburse you. So basically, where it used to cost you $50 and a Saturday of your time, plus lunch and travel, it will cost you nothing. We just ask that you front the money, register for the classes, and join. So the information about that, and this will be passed out as well, but you can simply go to DACDB, or you can go to www.rlitraining.org. That's www.rlitraining.org, and you'll find a lot more information about the classes, when they are, and how to register. The second thing that Bruce asked me to talk about was the role of the district governor coordinator and the assistant governors. Basically, a lot of things have been brought up tonight, and you had questions. The assistant governor, they have anywhere between 4 to 5 or 6 clubs that they're responsible for. They are not there to get in your way. They are not there to tell you what to do. Most of them, if not all of them, are past presidents and oftentimes have been in district leadership. They are there to help you. They are a resource. From this call, there's a lot of people presenting things, and you may not remember who's responsible for what. You have one call you can make to your assistant governor and say, hey, I need some information about this, or can you get me this? They offer as a sounding board. They can get you information about DACDB or MyRotary, or they'll put you in touch. If they don't know the answer, they will put you in touch with somebody who does. So if there's one person in Rotary that you want to have available in your Rolodex, as we used to say, it's probably your assistant governor. And I would encourage you, as you get on board, before you actually start your term, to get to know who that person is and get to meet them. In the coming months, they will be reaching out to you as an incoming president and giving you their name. And again, last thing I want to emphasize is we are not there to get in your club's business or tell you what to do. We're there for you as a resource. So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Howard. I appreciate that. Let me share just a few minutes with you about membership. Ladies and gentlemen, membership is critical to this organization. Jerry's doing a wonderful job. He's all hands on deck this year. We're going to be all hands on deck next year. But some of the positions that we have in our leadership, we'll zero in on membership. We'll be trying to help each and every club increase members. But the district governor aid with special projects will be looking at membership. Obviously, public image and public relations are going to be critical to making people aware of Rotary and encouraging them to become a member. The district membership chair is going to be active new club development. We got a lot of things that will be coming out on that later on. District club mentoring. We got to keep the clubs we have. The best customer you have, Sam, is the customer you have presently. You got to keep the ones you got and then go out and get some more. Club diversity, that's certainly critical to membership. Club visioning, Barry shared with you on that, how it can impact membership. And we hope to involve the assistant governors and the DG line and the college of governors. We're going to bring all those gray-haired college of governors back out and get them involved in membership. And obviously club presidents and club membership chairs is all critical. So there'll be a major emphasis on membership. More than likely, we'll have a hit on membership, especially in June when we start clearing out the books. So we've got to get aggressive with it. The other thing I want to mention is the youth services in our district. In our upcoming year, of course, we'll stay with the old standbys. That's RILA, Rotaract, and Interact. Those are some mainstays. I mentioned that we're bringing back Youth Exchange. As soon as COVID gets out of the way, we'll get moving on it. We'll have a four-way speech. That'll be for high school students, for example. the Rotary Center for Excellence. We're using some grant money with that. Basically what we'll do, we'll go out and bring in small groups of either high school seniors or early college students, and we'll teach them some major skills that they'll need for success in life. Things like speed reading, and memorization, and leadership, and the list goes on and on. So a lot to come on that, and we'll be giving you more there. Drugs is a major impact on our youth in this country. If it doesn't kill them, it'll scramble that brain up, and they're not as effective as they could be. So our focus is prevention. There's a lot of people out there. We can only do so much, but we hope to make an impact when it comes to that. But the bottom line is developing the youth of our community and saving them for the future there. Now, Jim,
Hey,
we tend to forget about the protocols, and there's protocols when the district governor shows up. What are some
there
of those?
really are. I think I've lost my camera, but I hope you can still hear me.
Yes,
I would suggest to remember that when the district governor is visiting you, think about this like the president of Rotary International is visiting, because that's who the district governor is representing. So this is really one of the highest level possible visitors you could have during your year. So sometime before your meeting, get together with your board and talk about what's going to happen here, what the role of the district governor is, the Rotary International president, and how that this is your opportunity to effectively be visited by the Rotary International president. And one of the things that I always encourage our clubs to do is, if you really were going to have the Rotary International president come visit, when that person stands up, we would all stand up and we would give the president a round of applause. We'll do the same thing for the district governor. Have your team know that that's what's expected and stand up and welcome the district governor and bring a guest. I mean, again, this is a pretty high profile meeting where people can get a feeling for what's happening district wide and maybe even internationally by the visit of the district governor. So make it a big deal would be my suggestion. Thank you, Bruce.
thank you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but the Rotary International president will be setting his goals for the year and be sharing that with all the clubs. The clubs should be setting goals for their year, but I had district goals, but Howard said, you're going to confuse. So we changed it to district initiatives. And if you men and ladies don't want me to fail next year, because I've got 100% on a lot of these. So I'm going to depend on all of you to help me meet these initiatives for next year. And I'll send these out to you and give you a little more information as we go. This is pre-pets, to get you ready for pets and share a little information that you don't get at pets. But Mid-South Pets, it'll be in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm just kidding, because it's been canceled and we're going virtual. But let me tell you, our Mid-South Pets being virtual is coming up in March. All president-elects, incoming presidents are expected to be there, expected to participate. So as you can see on the screen here, there's a list of pre-event training videos, etc., that you will have access to, that you'll be expected to look at and review. These are some additional recommended courses that they'll ask you to look at. They won't be required, but certainly recommended in Public Image Foundation and membership. And then the Friday of Pets in March, I didn't put the date up there, but on that Friday, you'll have a couple hours. That Saturday, about 4.5 hours of sessions. And then Saturday afternoon, there'll be breakout sessions that you're welcome to participate in too. So if you would block out Friday afternoon and Saturday for this President-elect training seminar, this will be virtual. I would certainly appreciate it, and we'll give you more information on that too. For my Rotary year, the annual conference, Mr. COVID will be out of the way. So we're going to have our annual conference. We're going to do it in Florence, Alabama. It'll be for 3 districts combined, putting those together, not only 6880, but also 6860 and 6760, which 6760 is in Tennessee. And we're going to have fun, Sam, I promise. A lot more to come on that. So put those dates down if you would. Okay. Skip, the individual Rotary Club is not on an island by itself.
No, it's
Why
not.
is this important?
No, it's not. And again, not to belabor the issue, you've got a tremendous amount of resources at your fingertips, be it on a computer or be it on a telephone. You've got your entire leadership team that Bruce has put together. You've got members of your own club who have served as directors and as past presidents, are a tremendous resource for you. So, you're not by yourself by any stretch of the imagination. And I think the biggest thing is you need to have fun. It's been said several times, Sam brought it up and others too, but you really do need to have fun. I'm a member of what we call the fun club, and we do our dang gum best to try to do that every time we get together. And that's something that I think you will. But again, you're facing a great year. You're going to have an excellent set of opportunities before you to make a difference in your community. And that's what, in my opinion, what Rotary does. So again, congratulations on your election and Godspeed. No, I didn't mean that. Y'all will do a wonderful job, and I look forward to seeing you succeed. If there's anything I can do or we can do as a College of Governors, we stand by to do that. So y'all enjoy. Thank you. Okay, Bruce.
Well, I think our past district governors have shared with us, all right, because of time. We want to kind of move along a little bit.
Hey, Bruce, can I interrupt for a second?
You sure can, Sam.
Damon has asked if you could put all those dates and conferences on one sheet and send it to the president-elects. I know you probably already have that, but he mentioned that in the chat. And so if you could send that to him, probably that would help them.
We sure will. We've sent it out some, but they very well could have missed that. It'll go back out several times, I promise there. Graham, when we do our Rotary Center for Excellence, one of the things we'll be teaching our young people is attitude. How can attitude help us stay positive, engaged, and fired up for Rotary?
When I think about being positive, I think back to a story when I was in elementary school of the little train that could. And he kept saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And he did. And it's the same way with what we do with Rotary. If we think we can, we can. And you've just got to have that positive attitude that we're going to make it. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to succeed. It's a matter of, if you don't believe in what you want to do, you're not going to succeed. If you believe, you will. And again, I go back to the little train that could. I think I could. I think I can. I think I can. And if we look at it that way, we will succeed and we will move forward. Governor Bruce, it's up to you.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to thank every participant that was with us tonight. Thank you so much for participating. The slideshow will go back out along with the video to everyone, including those that were not participating tonight. But we thank you for your commitment and your leadership and your dedication to Rotary. Good night to all.
Good job, Bruce. Thank you. And Howard, great job. Thank you. Jerry?
Nice, Skip.
Night, folks. Y'all take care.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
Bruce.
job,
Night,
folks.
one and all.
Thank you very
for
much.
Being here.
Good night, Jerry.
Good night. Thanks for participating.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jerry.
Same, Sam. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for being here.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.